Dreaming, dreaming, dreaming true. Everything I know you do. Listen to the voice within. Guide me, so I may begin. Dreaming, dreaming, you and I venture out in the night sky, asking questions forevermore. Who am I? Who am I? Who will I be when I die? Seeing a world in such array, I ask myself in every day, show me the way. Yes. Hello to all my relations. Omnita quiescent. Once again, I find myself sitting under the night sky. And there's an owl hooting in the background. Good to know the medicine is present. It's beautiful when nature acknowledges our presence as we acknowledge nature. Three hoots. Three's a charm. So I was having this conversation earlier. I attempted to write it, but I really... Okay, 4 hoots, and now we've acknowledged all the directions. But I was trying to write this conversation, and in a sense it's a conversation with God. And we're going to use God very loosely because I love using the word source and oneness. But those are all voices within myself. It's a new day. God's not out there. Source is not out there. All of it is within us. So I was reflecting on one of the messages we've had in the eons, how we want the self. We want to reflect and mirror the inner self, source within, to source without. And there's plenty of beautiful messages that say, once you can identify and sense and know the self within, to see that in everything that you look at. So that when we look at the pain and suffering in the material world, we're really wanting to go deeper. We want to sense the presence of the oneness of the source that's everywhere. And through that, we find the nourishment and the reminder that all can truly be at peace if we can find that seat in the spaciousness that allows us to differentiate where our attention is. When we look without, yes, we have a material world that's filled with pain and suffering. When we look within, we have a world that's peaceful, mysterious, unending, eternal. So what I was reflecting upon was I was having this conversation with Source, and as I sat here and just kind of examined my experiences in the day, and today I had a moment that I dropped into some sadness because yet again, someone who I thought as a good friend really got upset with me, angry with me, put me in a very deep box of judgment. And in the conclusion, decided I was no longer in her life. And so I got the lifetime goodbye. That's it. And I said, okay. So there was never really an invitation to have an interaction with this friend, to really go deeper and have the opportunity to love it to a creative solution. And so I experienced sadness, and I sat here. And I talked to Source. I said, Source, I know I'm supposed to let these emotions go through me, feel them, because that's how I can release and allow. But help me have the spaciousness, to know that this too is not something to hold on to. It's not my higher self. It's not who I am. And Source's response was very beautiful, because what it said was, I am the oneness, I am Source, and I am everywhere. And you are a reflection of me, and I am a reflection of you. Now, when the pain and suffering is going on the planet, do you see me as Source and oneness? Do you see me experiencing sadness? And I said, no. Source says, precisely. Do you see me having judgment? And I said, no, I don't. Precisely. You are a reflection of me. Find the place within yourself that is the unending love, as I am. I'm love benevolence, Source says. I'm everywhere. I don't withdraw my love, ever. But the pain and suffering is happening on the planet. Indeed, that's a reality. I did not determine that. I did not say, okay, let there be pain and suffering. No. However, it's one's choice of attention. When one puts their attention into the material world thinking that I am outside, which I am, and that's a particular mystery. However, of course I'm everywhere. But when beings take it upon themselves to think that they have control of their realities, and they do this and they do that, and they use their intellect to solve all their problems, they are still in the mire. They're in the Maya. They're still caught in an external reality. However, when one turns their attention to within and finds me and lives within the oneness, then you become a mirror. You look at the world and you go, now, if I am a mirror of Source and of oneness, then there is no problem. If I sit in the seat of Source, there is no sadness, because there is no external me that's having a response or a reaction to the pain and suffering. Well, today I had a moment, and obviously I was in the external self because I experienced sadness, and that's okay. But my higher self said, hey, hold on a second. We need to find some forgiveness and love and compassion, because that's always here. Fill yourself up from within and allow the sadness to be released, but hold the continuous infinite love like Source. And when you find that within yourself, hold that friend in that place. And just know, your love doesn't end. But you do have to let go of those kinds of occurrences in your life. And so I went on a journey of remembering that if I sit in the seat of Source, I'm a continuous flow of love. There is no problem. And it was a beautiful reminder for me. because we are the reflection of the divine benevolence that's flowing upon the planet. And that love and benevolence is consistently here. It's just how often do we turn our attention to it and trust it and deepen our faith in it. We go along our lives and we participate in the external reality. We experience the pain and suffering. We ask over and over, why? Why is this? Why is that? And there's divine, completely present, even in the struggles. Divine source, completely present. And that's our higher self, our observer self, that's completely present all the time, watching the little me, the egoic me, get all involved in the external world and experience the pain and suffering, experience the duality, the up and down, the left and right, the good and bad. Yet our higher self sits there and just watches, and our higher self as source has no comment. No, that self has no judgment, does not experience duality, yet it knows it's the greater presence. And when we finally turn our attention to that higher self and allow ourselves to share that presence, we then become the observer. The little me just kind of melts into the observer and starts to view the world and go, wow, I'm filled with benevolence and love, compassion, forgiveness, understanding, gratefulness. And when I'm in this spaciousness, there is no problem.